Stop taking this drug. Side effect, overthinking. This is the most dangerous drug in 2026. And it's not AI. It's not an economy. It's certainty. And if you need certainty to move, you will freeze while other people build. Welcome to Involve Podcast, where science meets spirit and turns into strategy. I'm Violeta, business doctor for exponential change. And today we are diagnosing addiction that's destroying smart leaders right now. And I'm giving you DETOX. Stays with me. First, why this matters to you. If you are a leader, founder, entrepreneur, you're probably someone who likes to plan, you like to be prepared. And there is nothing wrong with that. But somewhere along the way, thinking become a hiding place. And even more, researching become the hiding place. And preparing become your code and pattern. And hiding the pain to move. That conversation, that launch, that first YouTube video, first post, waiting for what? For certainty, for guarantee that this gonna work. That's the pill. That's guarantee it's never coming. Not in 2026. That's the exponential age. So the question is, what do we do instead? The science. Actually, what is happening in your brain. Let me explain the science. And I keep it as simple because this needs to land in your body, not only in your head. We learn mostly through our brain and head. But your brain is a prediction machine. That's the main job. It's constantly trying to figure it out what's happened next. The neurosciences, Frickson calls this predictive processing model. Your brain builds a picture of the future that checks reality against thousands of years ago, which that kept you alive. Something is in the bushes hiding and you see the danger. Pay attention, predictor. That's useful, but there is the problem. In 2026, bushes are everywhere. They are in your mind. AI is changing industry. Markets shift every week. Tools you learned last year are already outdated. Your brain is screaming, danger, danger, find certainty. Have a plan. And then scream. The addiction is talking. Then you pick the bottle and you drink it. Dr. Brewer, neuroscientist, proved that worrying works exactly like a drug addiction. Same brain loop, same mechanism. He calls that anxiety habit. And as the habit tells you, it's happening automatically. It's a loop. You face uncertainty, a decision, something unknown, behavior, you overthink, you research more, you plan more, you have another meeting, reward. You feel like you're doing something, you feel like you are being in control and you feel like it's a reward. You're feeling like you progressing. It's fake. It's an illusion. It's an illusion of control. Your brain registered it as a real. Nothing actually changed. You didn't move. You didn't build. You just took another pill. And the worst is that every time you complete that loop, uncertainty, overthink, temporary relief, your brain strengthens the pathway. The habit becomes stronger and more automatic. It's like a motorway. It gets stored in the basal ganglia, which is the part of your brain that runs things without your permission. Like, tightening your shoes or driving home without thinking. That's why you cannot just tell yourself to stop overthinking. It doesn't work because the pattern is running below your conscious mind. Now, here is why it gets really, really interesting for leaders. Kruglinski, a social psychologist, discovered something called the need for cognitive closure. People with high need for closure, and those are usually smart, driven, successful, they need a firm answer before they can act. Ambiguity feels physically uncomfortable to them. To you. Sounds familiar? You call it being thorough. You call it doing the due diligence. I used to work in the bank as an innovation executive, and we've been doing a lot of diligence. Sometimes it is just addiction. It's your brain dreaming and demanding another dose of certainty before it lets you move. The spirit. Because behind every click, there is a human heartbeat, your heartbeat. And here is the spirit. Surrender is not a weakness. Now, let me take you somewhere deeper. Because science explains the trap, but spirit shows us the way out. There is a verse in the Gita, chapter 47. It says, you have a right to action, but never to the fruits of your action. You have a right to action, but never to the fruits of your action. Think about that. You have a right to act, to create, to move, but you don't get the control what happens after. That's not your job. Your job is the action itself. Is the all that wisdom in the world telling you exactly what neuroscience is confirming. The need to know the outcome before you move is what keeps you stuck. And a warrior, a leader, don't stand on the battlefield calculating every single move and every single result. Fight, move, be present. Let go of the outcome. And this is not about being reckless. It's not about sitting and doing nothing. It's still taking an actions with a deeper truth, with a trust, a faith. Not blind faith, but the faith that says, I will act with everything I have and I will let the results teach me what is the next. They call this detachment. Not the cold detachment, but rather the wise one, the kind where you desire flow through like a river. It's not the ocean, you stay steady. That's the opposite of a certainty addiction. Certainty addiction clinches, it grasps, holds into it, wants more of it. Spiritual freedom, release, it moves, it creates. And here is my experience. When I left corporate world, when I stopped adapting and started creating, the hardest thing wasn't the strategy. I took a couple of courses and I knew exactly what to do, but I still was moving, then stopping, moving, then stopping. The hardest thing, it was letting go of needing to know it would work. Now, the exponential gap. Why this matters now? Let me put this in the business terms, because this is where strategy meets everything we just discussed. My doctoral research is about the exponential gap. The gap between how fast technology and the world are changing and how slowly we humans adapt. Technology grows exponentially, doubling. Humans adapt linearly. And the number one reason that gaps keeps widening, it's certainty. Leaders who need certainty to move are failing behind every single day. Not because they are stupid or because they lack of resources, because they stuck in the loop. And now with the more access into AI and research and information, we get more stuck in planning, in business research, in the information and data. In other words, more of the procrastination, more waiting. And the manual, the person who shipped the imperfect thing, they already have real data, real feedback, real momentum. Let me give you a number. I worked with a founder who delayed launching a new business And she was smart. She was extremely well educated. She was amazing. It took her 2 years to build the perfect business plan. And she still didn't launch her business. She was perfecting the offer. She was looking for investors. And we started work together. And within the 3 months, she literally had a business. She had an offer. She had the first clients. And she had the data. The data, what works and what doesn't work. She had the prototypes and she had the most powerful experiences because she actually was doing the business rather than thinking about the business. And all of this is what she was paying for the 2 last years while working on the business plans, because this is what we learned in MBAs, in the business schools, and everyone talks about it. Yeah, it's good to have a plan, but the best plan is a plan you can change fast without knowing if it's going to work. So that time of planning and building and thinking and overthinking, I call the certainty tax. This is the invisible price you pay for waiting for the perfect information in the world that moves too fast for perfection. And here is the line I want you to remember. Certainty doesn't come before action. It comes from the action. You don't think the way to clarity, you create your way to clarity. Yes, it's a little bit illogical with the preparation, but that's what it is. So just right now, I gave you the diagnosis, the science, the spirit, and the real cost. But a good doctor doesn't just leave you with diagnosis. So we're going to talk here. I share with you a plan, an action you can really take, a little treatment at home. You can use it. And it will be 3 steps based on everything what we talk about. And the last one is the best, that will change everything what you know about the uncertainty so far. So, first step number 1, detect the loop. You can't break a habit if you don't see it. And we often think that let's talk about and change a habit. Oh, this is something I want to change a habit. And then you keep doing it and you're upset why it's repeating. It's a habit. The biggest power of a habit is that it's in subconscious. You don't realize it. You're just doing it. So consciousness, it's here about seeing the habit and not being angry and judging and triggered, but actually the first ever thing is to see that habit, to see it, to catch yourself in the loop. And here is the simple test. I call it the 72-hour rule. If you have been thinking about the same decision for more than 72 hours and no new information has come in, you are not deciding, you are using. Thinking is useful when it produces new insight. But when thinking starts producing new fear instead of a new insight, that's the addiction talking. So this week, just notice when you catch yourself in that loop, this out loud. I'm seeking certainty right now. This is not the right moment. I need to wait more. I need to prepare more for that first video. Just name it. And here is the research behind. When you label the emotional state out loud, it activates the prefrontal cortex and calms the amygdala inside your head. Scientists call this the effect labeling. Simply naming what's happening changes your brain chemistry. It literally removes it's like you see the danger. You see what is happening. So that's why also consciousness is so important, because when you see you're conscious, you name it. So detecting isn't just awareness, it's a kind of a medicine. It helps you to get out of this loop. Number 2, evidence, not certainty. Replace certainty with evidence. And This is the mindset shift that changes everything. Certainty is binary. Yes or no. Be or not to be. We are not a Hamlet. You are not a Hamlet. You are experimenter in this world. So yes or no, safe or unsafe, ready or not ready. Evidence is giving you direction. It gives you next step. It is warmer or colder. It's closer or further. It's like there is no any other way than literally going through the experimentation process and through the journey. You cannot learn something by thinking about it. You eventually have to go to that water and do the first video or the second. And when you demand certainty, you freeze. You freeze because certainty almost never comes. But when you look for evidence, you can always move. Here's the practical tool. Instead of asking, am I sure this will work? Ask this. What is the smallest action I can take in the next 24 hours that gives me new evidence? And I love to use evidence-based strategies. Everything is evidence for you. It's an experiment. You have body to feel the impact of your actions. You have body to give you directions and give you some GPS. Okay, what's the smallest step I can take that gives me evidence, gives me direction? It's like building the map, following your compass, your body, your emotions, everything what you have to use fully. Maybe it's the one conversation with the potential clients that you're avoiding, or you're preparing PowerPoint slides forever. Or maybe it's that imperfect LinkedIn idea, post or conversation. Or maybe it's just creating that powerful video you always been thinking about. Or launching your page, or creating your business, or talking to your boss for the salary increase, or just applying for a different job. Whatever is that, it's powerful. It is the next smallest thing you can take. And that's what it's called the 70% rule. If you have a 70% of the information, move. Another 30 you will learn in by moving. And you cannot get 100. You always move and there is more information. And there is, with the AI access, seriously, you're gonna drown in information. This is why critical thinking is so powerful right now. So you're not moving by thinking into action, but you actually moving, acting and learning and feeling and using your beautiful emotional wisdom, which I will talk about in the next podcast. You have to be part of it because this is like bomb. Okay, let's go back to our drug and addiction. This also connects very much into the Me2We framework that we have created based on 25 years of research, studying and working with human beings from all different angles, from the psychology, neuroscience, spiritual, personal development, but also from the innovation perspective and future readiness. And this is not only about finding the evidence alone. It's really involving people in co-creating with you, people and technology. Talk to your clients, find out the next offer, but not just sitting and thinking about it, but understand what is important, what people care. Talk to your clients and get the evidence. Evidence is relational. And when I was working in the bank, and often I had a very senior people coming to me because I was heading the innovation, and I want this feature implemented right now, here and then. And I said, okay, most of the people would do it because it's a client pays for it, but also the most powerful thing when you talk and say, yeah, I can do that. However, this is not what your clients want. And then you're speaking the language of the person. You understand what actually clients also want. This is your evidence. This is your data. And so we need to understand ourselves. We need to understand our own data, who we are and what we do, and then also what the market needs. But again, this is for another beautiful podcast. Let's come back to the certainty. Certainty is a prison. evidence is your compass. It's like you get the data through the experimentation. You literally get the data, but finding out what is that thing, what is the next thing, what works, what doesn't work. And that's the data. This is how we learn step by step. Okay. And then the last step, the step 3. This is really, really, really big one. Tolerate the withdrawal. Here is what it's going to happen. The moment you can act without certainty. The moment ship that imperfect thing, meaning make the call, launch the offer, your body is going to react. Your heart will speed up, your stomach will tighten, your brain will scream, stop, danger, go back. Think more. You are not ready. And I need you to know something. That feeling is not a sign you are making a mistake. That feeling is a withdrawal. Your brain, and I have one here. So your brain is used to take certainty drug and you just stop taking it. And Dr. Brewer's research shows this clearly. When you interrupt the worry habit loop, there is discomfort. That's normal. That's your nervous system recalibrating. It's not a danger, it's growth. So here is what I want you to do when that spikes hits. Say those words. I'm not confused. I'm just in withdrawal. My job is not to feel certain. My job is to run an experiment. Lots of people is talking about you have to go out of your comfort zone. No, that's danger. For everyone, getting out of comfort zone, for your brain, it feels danger. But here, we're not talking about danger. We're talking about experimenting. You tell your brain, my job is to run experiment. Write it down, put in your desk, put it everywhere. I am experimenting. I am experiencing. I am discovering. I'm learning. I'm gathering evidence. Put this on your desk. Say it out loud when your brain tries to pull you back into that loop. You back into the loop. And then spiritually, this is the moment. This is the moment on the battlefield when you feel the fear and you act anyway. Of course, you're going to feel the fear, but you also feel the passion. And when you feel this passion, when you feel this idea and the instinct or the intuition telling you to do something, yes, we will talk about intuition, imagination on this podcast because it's podcast for humans, exponential humans. So you act with the fear, not because you know the outcome, but because action is your natural way of being. Creation is your purpose. So many people is looking for the purpose. You cannot find it without experimenting and taking steps. Another beautiful podcast. In acceptance and in the commitment therapy, one of the most researched psychological frameworks in mental health is not defined as a feeling certain. It's defined as a psychological flexibility. And I want to repeat that, and I want you to remember the psychological flexibility is the ability to act according to your values, even when you don't know the outcome. That's the freedom. That's the true and the most powerful freedom. The freedom then you act, you make your dreams, you do what you want to do without knowing. You have a trust, you have a faith, you believe. That's what we are building. And right now, I'm going to give you a prescription, like a 7-day certainty detox. So you can take that pill and the bottle and put it away. And here is your prescription from the business doctor. The 7-day certainty detox. Day 1, detect, map your certainty loop. Where do you overthink. Write it down. Write it down. And also, if you can catch yourself while you're doing something, when you're asking yourself, oh, I don't know if this will work, oh, I have to do more research, or I'm not ready, catch yourself. If you talk to your clients, to your boss, to your family member, that's a step one, day one. The next one is day two. Calculate your certainty tax. And this will be very interesting for everyone who is in kind of in business and profit and loss and trying to understand all of it and already running the business, but maybe you're not looking at yourself from this perspective. So calculate your certainty tax. How much has your delay actually cost you? How much it cost you? Think about this story I told you. One of my clients building her business plan for 2 years. How much did it cost? And now the next step is day 3. Identify one decision you have been sitting on for over 72 hours. Circle it and take action, the smallest possible action that will take you closer to solve that. Day 4, apply the 70% rule. What action would you take if you didn't need to be sure? What action you would take? What, like, 70%. You probably know even more, but you cannot find out more without doing experiment. Day 5, take that action. Ship it, send it, post it, launch it. And you can also share it here below this video if you took the action and what was it. Day 6, notice the withdrawal. Withdrawal meaning this uncomfortable feeling that you're excited, but at the same time, you're a bit uncomfortable. So don't fight it. Name it. I'm not confused. I'm in it withdrawal. And withdrawal meaning also when you remove this addiction of certainty away, we want to come back to it because it's addiction. It's a habit. It's the way of being. So this is why it feels. It's the same if you can think about somebody who is eating a lot of sweets or drinking an alcohol or smoking cigarettes. What's happened with the body and mind when it stops? That's exactly what it's happening with you when you remove your certainty drug. Day 7. Day 7, review the evidence. What did you learn? What happened? Was it as bad as your brain predicted or it was not? So if you follow these 7 days of a detox, I promise you after 7 days, you will realize something profound. The certainty you were chasing, it never existed. But the evidence you build by moving, that's real. That's yours. And nobody can take it away from you. And in every program and every client we have worked with, that steps turn their lives within 66 days. Small action, small place. You don't need years. If you are not taking any more certainty track and do your 7 days detox. So 7 days, one experiment. And now I want to share with you the deeper truth from adoption to creation. I want to go one level deeper before we close, because this podcast isn't about productivity hacks. Certainty addiction is really about one thing. And now, stay with me. The one thing, the fear of being wrong. And underneath the fear of being wrong is something even deeper. The fear that if I try, I fail. It means I'm not enough. That means that what people will think about me, that I'm not good enough, that's the real fear people are taking. Not certainty about the business plan, certainty about their own worth. And this is where spirit meets science so beautifully. Because every spiritual tradition, the mystics, they all say the same thing. Your worth is not in the outcome. Your worth is in the willingness to create. Let's keep that for a moment. Your worth is in the willingness to create. And Viktor Frankl survived concentration camps and wrote The Search for Meaning. Not certainty gives life depth. True peace comes not from knowing, but from living with purpose, despite of knowing. That's the shift I lead leaders to make. From adapting to creating. From me trying to control everything and change everyone to we. Involve in building something bigger. And also knowing yourself, building your own self, and understanding and feeling the others, and being ready to create under any circumstances. The work we're doing is to give leaders and business leaders and entrepreneurs and also parents the tools, strategies to literally create and build under any circumstances. When the path is not clear, when you don't know what to do and you're doing it anyway. And if you are a parent, I have 3 kids. So if you are a parent, you're also wondering what and how the future will look like. What will you give to your children? And the worst thing which we want to give to our kids is the fear-based survival. It's the fear of, oh, I don't know what to do. The fear of, I just don't do anything. It's the fear of unknown. So from fear-based survival to purpose-driven co-creation with other humans, co-creation with technology in the unknown world. That's the exponential gap closing. And that's also all my life work and also my doctorate in this exponential time. Give humans the tools, strategies, and mindset to create under any circumstances in the fast and changing world that our mind, human mind, is not ready for anymore. And it's not through more information, but rather from more involvement. You can see that I ask you to do the detox. I ask you to do some activities. And if you do them, you will feel in your body. It's not only information, it's literally transformation. And if you want to create and if you want to live the life you design on your own terms, do those. See where you are. Break the loops of the habits. The courage is that change. The courage is that magical moment of truth. So let me leave you with this. Certainty addicts adapt. They wait, they plan, they prepare, and they wonder why the world keeps passing them by. The creators, the exponential humans, the leaders of the future, they move at 70%. They build evidence instead of demanding the proof. They tolerate the withdrawal, and they trust themselves. They know themselves, the me part, they trust themselves enough to act before the map is complete. Which one are you going to be this week? Which one? Are you going to be the adapter or the creator? Here is what I want you to do right now. Drop the word detox in the comments and tell me what is the one experiment you are going to run in the next 24 hours. And I read every single comment, and I will send you also a digital copy of our journal, 24-hour journal, designed, prototyped, and experimented for the last 5 years as one of the best ever moving tools designed for humans who wants to create, innovate despite of the unknown. Make the comment detox and tell me what was the one experiment you are going to run in the next 24 hours, and I will send you a digital copy for 3 months of our 24-hour journal that is literally designed for humans, exponential humans who wants to create, who wants to get out of the survival mode, and who wants to create, who wants to take actions and build evidence-based strategy and be the exponential future leaders. So if you are a leader, entrepreneur, or maybe curious human, I may even give some diagnosis or coaching here online if you up for it. So I'm Violeta, the business doctor for Exponential Age, and this is Involve Podcast, where science meets spirit and strategy. And stop taking the pill, start creating the future. And I'm gonna see you on the next podcast.